Well, good morning. How are you this fine Friday morning? I hope wherever you are, you have got maybe the sun shining and you're ready to do a little bit of digital learning. My name's Christine and I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, the Google Digital Garage. I've been involved in the Google Digital Garage project pretty much since just after it started. That's back in 2017, I think. And I've been privileged in this time as a marketeer to spend time with lots of different businesses, all of whom are just trying to take those next steps on their digital journey. And of course, as we probably are aware, that digital landscape does keep changing. But what we're going to be talking about today is something really close to my heart, which is how no matter what tools we're talking about, and we will look at some of the tools available, we're thinking today about having the plan, having the strategy, working out what's going to be the right thing to do for your business. Now, we don't do any of these things alone, and I'm very lucky today in that alongside me, I have our wonderful moderator, Roshane. Now, Roshane is in the chat right now, and Roshane's job is to keep everything moving. She is going to be answering your questions as we go. She's going to be dropping you some useful links. She's going to be adding some extra detail behind some of what I've said, and she will also be having her hardest task, which is trying to keep me to time. So between us, we're going to hopefully be able to help you take some of the next steps on your digital journey. A bit of housekeeping. As I say, Roshane's our moderator, and she's there in the chat now. If you're in the chat, why not pop in and say hi? You can tell you're speaking to Roshane because she's got a little blue spanner next to her name. Now, the other thing about the chat is that you need to be signed up or signed into YouTube to be able to use it. So if you're not browsing signed in right at the moment and you'd love to join in the chat, which we do hope you do, then why don't you get yourself signed up? Pop up to the right-hand side, sign up or sign in to your YouTube, and you'll be able to join in fully. I said Roshane will answer questions as we go, which she will. But what we'll also do is we're going to take a little pause throughout the session this morning. And Roshane will send me some of those interesting questions that she thinks would be good for the whole group to hear the answer to. And we'll take as much time as we can in our busy session this morning. Just so you do know, we're running this Google Digital Garage virtual training as part of our broader offering of courses. So if you want to check out our schedule of upcoming training, why not see the information on that? It's in the description below. That will link you through to our website. Heck, it's probably how you found us this morning, but do feel free. I will also, as we go, this is a brilliant session, actually. This is a brilliant session. That's not quite how much I meant. This is a great session for if you're either taking stock of where you are right now, or you're even quite towards the beginning of your planning. And what I will do as we go through is kind of signpost you to some of our other resources. So this is a really good jumping off point. But we can't possibly encompass all of digital marketing in just 1 hour together. So I will be signing you off as we go into different things. Okay, so I think that's us all sorted housekeeping wise. Let's have a look at what we're going to do today. Is we're going to talk about digital marketing. So we're going to think about digital and the online world and how it keeps changing. And we'll understand a little bit together about digital marketing, what we think it is, what that means for different businesses. If you do have a business of your own, another thing that's really great is if you let Roshane know what kind of business you're in or what you're trying to achieve with your business, because that's going to help us to tailor this session to what you need to get from it. So we're going to talk about digital marketing itself on a kind of high level. Then we'll talk about some of the different digital marketing channels. And then I'm going to show you a really simple 5-step plan to pull those a digital marketing plan together for your business. Now, as I say, we can't cover everything in just our time together. And if you're based here in the UK, don't worry, there is more help available. So I really do hope that you find today helpful. If you want to then take that on to the next session, we do have available for anybody who works for a small business or maybe for a charity and they're working here in the UK. You can now sign up for a free one-to-one mentoring session from Google. And as I say, these sessions are completely free. And what you'll be, you can sign up using the link g.co/UK mentoring. And then one of our mentors will be allocated to spend an hour together via the magic of the internet and video calling, and basically talk through any of the digital things you like. We won't do anything for you, but that our plan is always to help you take those next few steps along your digital journey. Sign up, as I say, and book a session at g.co/UK mentoring. Okay, digital marketing, let's jump on in and see what's going on. So here's a thought for you. Why don't you have a think? You're probably getting on for this already, I guess, if that's, why you wanted to join us. So let's have a think, and you can pop your answers to any of the questions as we go through. They're good to be ideas to get you starting and get you thinking. But what are the benefits for a business to be online? What opportunities might you be looking to get? Have a think, and I will take you through some answers we prepared earlier. Okay, so while you're thinking about that, I just want to set the scene a little bit. When we're talking about digital, when we're talking about online, when we're talking about getting your business out there, we are, and I've mentioned a couple of times, this ever-evolving world. One of the big changes since I've been involved in Google Digital Garage, last 5 years, last 10 years, are actually these little things, mobile phones. And whenever we're thinking about marketing, it's not about tools, it's not about numbers, and it's not about tricks or anything like that. It's about human behavior. And we live in, as it says, a mobile world. We expect us, when we're customers, to be able to pick up our little mobile phone that connects us to the internet. And we're expected to be able to buy online, to be able to research online, and to get the answers really easily to us at the tips of our fingers, almost constantly, no matter where we are and what we're up to. In the UK, over 80% of people do buy online. And there were billions of smartphones, so lots of people are buying online. They are looking online. Across the world, 60% of all searches are done on mobile devices. So people are out and about. We think of something, we search for it. So we're trying to tap into the behavior of the audiences we're trying to reach. And we really do need to make sure that we are taking note of that behavior. So if you think about what you might want to do, what businesses can achieve using digital. Well, one thing is reaching people, and it's really interesting here. We always say reach more people globally. On the internet, the whole point of it is you can reach anyone on the planet who has a device and an internet connection and is interested in what you've got to say. But really importantly, for me at least, is actually the ability to reach people locally as well. And some of the tools we're going to look at really do focus on being able to tell your story to those people around you, the people who are most likely to have a connection with who you are and what it is that you want to do, potentially. And I just want to give a quick shout out to the little tool that's showing on our screen here. It's a tool called Google Trends. And now Roshane will not let me go into any depth this morning about any of the tools, really. It really is a high-level overview. But Google Trends is a phenomenal tool. And it's all about looking at trends. It's about seeing what the world is searching for. So, for instance, you might be doing some research, and here they've got, they've wanted to check out running shoes, or people looking for running shoes. And it turns out that more people are looking for running shoes in the US than are looking in the UK. So maybe we've not quite got the language right for UK. What are they looking for? Maybe looking for running trainers, maybe looking for, and then you start going off and having a bit of a think about the words people could be using. We talk a little bit more about Google Trends and about research and about getting things found when we are discussing get your business visible on Google. So that's the first shout out when you're looking to find out, do research and find out a bit more about what your customers are thinking. Google Trends is a brilliant place to start that research. So we can reach customers wherever they are on the globe or really close to home. We can learn about our customers, about our potential customers, about who our customers really are. So it's not just about how many clicks we get, how many likes we get, how many visitors we get. We can actually go into a deeper level and learn about who are the people who are actually interested, who are the people who are actually going on and converting and making the sales. Loads of tools out there to do. We've got a couple of screenshots here. We've got one of them, and they're actually both showing the same sort of information. This is a bit of demographic info. Shows one of the things, there's loads of sources of information. They don't always necessarily exactly use the same criteria. So they'll present the information slightly differently. They will use slightly different age grade. So here we've got in both of these tools, which is one from Facebook, from social media, and one from Google Analytics, which is how you measure a website. And they're using different, their bars are, the age of the person. And then they're also doing a male-female split. And you can look at this and learn a little bit about your customers. As I say, they don't present it exactly the same, so you can't just compare directly one against the other. But we can start to find out more information about the people who are visiting our website, the kinds of people who have a propensity to go on and buy from us. We can learn about where in the world they are. We can learn about what it is of ours that we put out there that they're going to find interesting. Okay. We can use that to target them better, to be more interesting. Okay. So lots of interesting stuff we can do when we learn about who the people are who we seem to be connecting with. And businesses really do use the internet to communicate better, to support better, to get their story out there. If we were here face to face, I would ask you, very honestly, who's ever made a complaint on social media? Who's ever left a review for a business? Who's ever put their, as a customer, put their views across? The brilliant thing about the internet is it gives you as a business that right of reply. And as I say, we're not going to go deep into reviews. We do go deeper into complaints and dealing with how to deal with customer service issues when we talk in one of our webinars, which is all about writing for social media. So if you can find that one on our website and join us for that one. We do, if people do get worried, well, if people can complain, if people can leave reviews, if people can give feedback, I can't control that. That's outside my control. But you do get the right of reply on pretty much every platform. And if people are going to be posting about you, going to be talking about you, going to be reviewing you, you might as well be there ready to respond and maybe even turn those not ideal customer experiences around. You don't know about them to fix them if you can't even see them. So we can really put that customer at the center of what we're up to and learn from them and respond to what they need and help them out when they need when we've fallen short, or, gather that positive stuff when we want to know what we're doing well. All right, so communication. People want to be able to communicate easily. They want to be able to communicate with us quickly. All right, so really quick first session in this. We always do break our sessions down into 3, as I say. Really I don't think I've said anything controversial yet. Do let me know, or let Roshane know in the chat. I can see we don't have any particular questions. I wouldn't expect to. Off that first section, I've not really said anything too controversial. It's just warming and easing into this Friday morning a little bit gently. So let's carry on and think about some of the different digital marketing channels, the ways to get to market, the ways to reach your customer. And, every time we do a webinar like this one, there's probably something new coming around the periphery. There's always something changing in the digital world. We're going to explore a few of the different channels that are out there, talk a little bit how you might evaluate them, how you might select one. Just before I pop the next slide up, we're actually going to talk about 6 different tools or tactics that you might want to use. That does not for a moment, and I would hate for you to feel that it means that Christine at the Google Digital Garage says you have to use, these are the tools you have to use. There's so many tools you could use. And my overriding advice to pretty much anyone I work with is to do fewer things, but do them really well. Rather than trying to stretch yourself too thin, pick a couple of things that you can do really well, that you can measure, that you can know what impact you're having. And then add other things as you get comfortable. All right, so just because I'm going to show you a ton of things doesn't mean, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, doesn't mean I'm saying you have to do every single one of these. Okay, so some of the different channels we're going to be thinking about. First up, we've got search engine optimization is something you might have heard of. So when we tippity tap something into our search engine and we find results, how can you as a business get yourself to be found when relevant searches are being made, when somebody's looking for a business like yours? That's what search engine optimization is all about. So we're going to consider search engine optimization. We'll have a look at search engine marketing. We're going to take a little bit of a look at social media, as I say, very quick, and we've got 2 whole webinars dedicated to social media for you. But social media marketing, rather than just doing some social media, how can we actually start to structure that and start to work out what it is we want to achieve and go about achieving it using the places where lots of us hang out in social media. We'll talk a little bit about display marketing. Display is one of those that people don't realize they've heard of. So I'll explain as we go through. We'll have a quick chat about email marketing. That's where I started out and still has a really strong potential for lots of different businesses. You have to go about it in the right way, which we'll talk about as well. And then the thread that pulls everything together is your content marketing. So whereas the other 5 things are the tools that the channels that you might want to use, content marketing is all about thinking about what you want to say, how you're going to say it, how best to tell your story. And that weaves as a thread through everything else that you do, really. So let's just have a very, 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 I promise I'll try and keep it very brief overview about search marketing. All right. So search is about thinking, all right, you want to reach somebody with search at the point they're looking. So search is brilliant because it has a real intent behind it. It has a real feeling of, this is what, as a customer, this is what I want. So the customer is telling you what they want to find. Let's take a little bit of a look at a typical search result. And I say a typical search results page because actually, I want you to become a student of search from now on. Every time you search, your search engine, whichever one you choose, we're obviously going to use Google as an example here, but other search engines are available. Every time you search, there's an intent behind it. I might search for something and it thinks, and my intent behind it is I want to buy something. I might search for something and my intent behind it is I want to go somewhere. Okay, subtly different. And depending on what we search for, the search results, the way we see them changes. So here's one. And the search term that's being used here, highlighted in yellow, is best compact camera for travel. Now that feels like the intent of us to buy something there. If I want to know what the best something is, then maybe I'm looking to buy something. And our survey agrees with us. So what we find is the search results page changing, obviously depending on your search, but also the layout. So here, best compact camera for travel, that feels like the kind of search that's looking to buy something. So what I get are some ads. And here I get some shopping ads. Love me a shopping ad. We don't touch too deeply on it here, but when we're talking about display, we'll show you the tool that you can use. It takes a bit more setup, but shopping ads are brilliant if you have inventory to sell. You can even link up your point of sale and your location data, so people searching locally can see what's looking for you. It's a phenomenal way to get your message out there. So we've got ads of different types. We've got shopping ads here, and we've got text ads. You'll also see different kinds of ads, and we'll talk about how to get there in a minute. And then here below that, we have got your organic search listing. So organic is a word that just means that it's not paid for. All right, so organic, it's happening, I say naturally. Actually, when we get into a little bit about search engine optimization, it's not something that happens by chance, shall we say. There are lots of things you can do when you go deliberately to get yourself found in search. Now, we are not going to be able today go into a whole load of detail about search engine optimization because, entire theses have been written about this. But basically, if you want to get yourself found in search, first thing you're going to need to know is the sorts of things that people are searching for. If you think that when we ask, don't think of search queries, don't think of keywords so much, think of questions. When I go to my search engine, as I do pretty much to run my entire life, I ask it a question, it presents me with some answers. So the first thing to do, and we'll call this doing your keyword research. That feels a bit dry and technical. Your keyword research are the words and the phrases, the questions that you're a great answer to. Because you can't get yourself, and you wouldn't want to put time and effort into being found for things that you're not relevant for. The whole point is not about tricking any systems. It's about saying, right, this is what I've got to offer. This is what the kind of things people will be looking for. And here's how I prove I'm a good answer to the question. So in terms of the technical things you can do to help you boost that, first of all, there's an amazing tool called the Google Search Console. Now, the Google Search Console, I think it used to be called your Webmaster Tools, all right, which felt a little bit like it wasn't quite accurately describing what's going on. So the Google Search Console is a tool that you can associate with your website. This is all about, so all search engine optimization relies on being found in search and directing people through to your website, at least traditional, shall we say, search engine optimization. So the Google Search Console will help you by looking at your site, telling you if you need to fix anything, showing you what you are likely to show up for, which might be interesting. That might be just looking at the things that you're likely to show up for might, give you cause to pause. Are you being found for are you able to be found for what you think you should be? You can monitor how you're doing in search. It will ping you an alert if something breaks or if something it isn't helping you out. You can also ask for yourself to be indexed. So when you make some changes, how search works is spiders crawl around the internet, following links and looking for new content to share. It can take a little while for a low traffic site, especially, to be indexed. So in terms of doing that, you can let the spiders know that you've made a change, okay? You do things like within the tool, within Search Console, you can put a sitemap in. And the sitemap will show what you think is on each page. So it will use you. What you're always trying to do is trying to use the structure of the page and use the way you go about writing your content, structuring your content, labeling your content, heading your content. We'll talk about content in a little while, to really help Google and therefore your users to understand what's going on. All right. But it all starts with those questions. What questions are you a good answer to? And that's where we say, that's what keyword research is all about. All right? There are no shortcuts for search engine optimization. It's about knowing what people are looking for, your keywords, and then it's about writing good, high quality, interesting, unique, useful content. And I know there's tools out there that promise to generate tons of content for people, but being useful and having high quality, interesting things to say that are relevant to the people who are searching for it and then making them search friendly so they can be found. And that's about the structures and using your headers and things. That's what's going to help you get found. Tons more. I mean, that's barely even scraping the first layer of the surface about search and search engine optimization. Do join us for our webinar on Get Your Business Visible on Google, where we'll go into that a bit more in depth. The one thing I would suggest, my other real strong, be interesting, be useful, be unique, but also don't try and trick the system. All right, it doesn't work. And if it works short term, it won't work long term. So people will, I remember way back, they said, if you take a white page and then stuff with white text on that white page, loads and loads and loads and loads of keywords, that's going to help the search engine find you. The search engine is smarter than that. It's all about understanding the content. These tricks go around, rumors fly, and yeah, they might work short term, but the best way to get yourself found in search consistently is to be a good answer to the questions that are being asked, and then make sure that you explain to the search engine how you are that good, making those pages search friendly. Okay. So traditional search engine optimization is all about driving traffic to your website, but there are other ways you can be found as a business in search without necessarily even having to have your own website. Okay, so lots of searches every single day are local in nature. We're looking for our local cafe, our local plumber, our local garage. If I search, I'm based up in the Northwest. I don't want to, if I need a plumber, I don't want to get adverts or connected with a plumber in Glasgow or a plumber in Devon. I need one who's local to me and actually probably hyper local. Somebody who can get here while there's water gushing from the ceiling. Okay. So if you have customers that you want to serve locally, then getting yourself listed in local databases and local tools is an incredibly strong idea. Lots of people call that almost local SEO. Lots to look at. We've got the Google Business Profile, we've got Bing, we've got TripAdvisor, we've got Yelp, we've got Trusted People. Whatever it is, look at the places where somebody would go to find a business like yours and see if you can enhance your presence. All right. It's all about getting your word out there. One of the tools we mentioned already here is Google Business Profile. But with any of those tools, the kind of key to getting found is to actually feed information into the tool. Google Business Profile is a phenomenal tool for anybody who either brings people to their premises, cafes, shops, etc., or who goes and serves people in the local community, landscape gardeners, financial services, plumbers. Okay, so if you want to be found by people locally, if you want to get a boost when people locally are searching for you, and you don't even have to have your own website, then feed the Google Business Profile with as much information about your business as possible. We go into that in a ton of detail in our webinar called Find Customers with Google Maps. So if you want to join on with that one, head on over and find that webinar for you as well. Okay, search engine optimization is what we've been talking about, being found in the listings when people are asking the kind of questions, doing a lot of good work and hoping to be found in those listings. However, another way we're able to do it is to give that an instant boost by looking at search engine marketing or search engine ads. All right, so search engine optimization, I really dislike this word free. What it means is that when we're talking about search engine optimizing, which is what we've been talking about thus far, you do the work and you publish your content and you do all the behind the scenes, and then you go into, you do not pay for the search engine traffic that comes to you. With search engine marketing, you do. But you can be a lot more direct about, this is who I'm looking for, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want to be found for. Okay, and with search engine marketing, you only actually pay. I mean, it's gotten a little bit more complex with lots of different things, but at its core, it's pay per click. So you can show your search engine ad 10 times. If one person clicks on it, you'll only be charged for that one click that comes through. Okay. So when you're doing optimization, you optimize for those keywords. When you are doing marketing, it's a lot more direct. You bid on the keywords you want to be seen for. And you can also, use negatives to remove keywords you don't want to be seen for. Maybe you've got a local business that's a travel agent. You might want to be found when people are in that research stage looking for holidays. You might really want to be found if they're looking for luxury holidays. But if somebody's looking for cheap holidays, you can actually say, well, I don't want to be found because I'm not the cheapest out there. I've got these different experiences that people are going to, certain people, if you're looking for a cheap holiday, I'm never going to persuade you to buy a luxury holiday. It's just out of the realms. Yeah. So you say what you want to be found for and what you don't want to be found for. With optimization, it says can take time to rank on the first. If you're doing holidays, whether they're cheap or expensive, it's a really competitive marketplace. So with search engine optimization, it could take a while and it might not even be achievable to get yourself onto that first page. With search engine marketing, you can get yourself in a position to be seen straight away. And you can also turn it off again. So if you've got enough customers, which does happen if I'm a seasonal business, say I'm a plumber, coming into the heating going on in October, I might be busy as can be. And it might be I might use advertising to actually fill in those quieter months rather than, so you don't have to be advertising all the time. As I say, tons to go through. We do cover a lot more depth when we talk about get started with digital advertising. Okay. But in terms of search engine marketing, you're basically looking with search engine marketing to use a tool called Google Ads to construct adverts, set your bidding strategy, set ceiling prices for what you want to pay, by that's per day, per month, in total over the plan, and then run those ads. As I say, it sounds super simple. It's getting a lot easier. That's the great thing. Artificial intelligence and machine learning is coming into the small business ad sphere. So the tool is called Google Ads. Within there, you can run all kinds of ads across the Google network, and search engine ads are just one of those things. When you're talking about doing search engine ads, running them, my top tip is to make your mistakes when you're not paying per click. So get good at search engine optimization first. Make sure you've got a good website. Make sure you're looking at the right words. You're optimizing your keyword list. You don't want to bid for clicks for things that you don't offer. So make sure that you are, really thorough with making sure that you've got a website that can deliver. Especially if you're paying for ads, you don't want to be bringing traffic and then having a hole in your website that means they can't check out. So get all that thing done. Ad extensions are free things that you can use to make your ad bigger. It's a bit like with the search engine, the Google Business Profile. The more information you feed in, the more it can choose what's going to be most useful, most relevant in those searches. So fill out as many of the areas you can. Extensions are things like having a thing that links direct to a messaging or direct to a specific page on your website, or call now, have a phone number on there. Okay. Helps make your ad stand out. And I would say connect your analytics account to everything you're doing, making sure you're tracking your traffic through. We'll talk about that in a minute. But with your ads, unless you are measuring, you have, as far as I'm concerned, no place running ads. Because how do you know that the money you're spending is having any kind of effect at all? We talk about measurement a lot in a moment, so I won't ruin the surprise on that one for you. Display marketing, it's the one that people don't understand, don't think they know what it is. All right. But display marketing is, it's all about using visual ads when people are browsing on the internet. All right. A bit like online billboards. but so much more flexible with the billboard. In the old days, if I wanted to put a message out there for somebody, when somebody's searching, they're telling me what they want. It's very direct. I make a search, I get served with the results, I make a choice as to whether or not I want to interact with that business. With display, it's different. It's about getting yourself seen on areas of the internet that aren't your own website before, when people aren't directly searching for you. Okay, so display ads, banner ads. You'll have seen these, I am sure. And display ads are incredibly flexible. So the best kind of display ads are probably visual ones, and where they are really targeted to the person who is browsing the internet. So they change. If you and a friend both navigate to the same website, you can do this as an experiment. Two of you go to the same website, you will see different ads around that same website. And that's because those ads are being targeted depending on, lots of different things, but they're being targeted basically on who the user is rather than on what they're interested in, rather than just what's going on the page. Okay, so if you're getting started with display advertising, there again, it's become a lot more simple recently with the use of smart ads. So first thing you do is you head to Google Ads and you create a campaign. You choose how you want to target. Are you targeting on things, you're trying to retarget, or depending on the content of the web page, depending on what people have searched for in the past, depending on, different topics and things that people are interested in. So you choose how you want to be found, and then you feed with the smart ads. You don't even have to create the ads yourself anymore. What you do is you feed the Google Ads platform with your images, with your headlines, with your descriptions, and it will run some experiments, and it will actually create the right size and shape of ad for the websites that you're trying to be found on. Really, really, you can target geographically, you can target just so flexibly. It's an amazing tool. So as with everything we're talking about, the key to actually success with display is understanding your customers. Where along their buying journey are they? Quite often when we search, when we buy something, when we interact with a business, we don't sit down and do it all in one go. We go through different stages. So understanding that customer journey, understanding what's going on at different stages, really helpful. Shout out for remarketing. Remarketing is something where if you've ever been haunted by the pair of shoes you left in your basket, didn't quite get round to buying, that's remarketing in action. So somebody's visited my website, they've seen something, hopefully they liked it, and for whatever reason, life has taken over and they haven't bought them. Remarketing allows you to follow them around with that pair of shoes or with that whatever it is that you're selling. So remarketing is really interesting. And there's no substitute. There are no right answers. There are no universal answers to these questions. So it's all about testing something, trying something, do more of what works and do less of what doesn't, which means you have to be measuring all the way through. Social media marketing. So social media marketing elevates your activity on social media, and it takes it from just being, putting out a few posts on a particular platform and gets you posting with a purpose. Now, we have a whole webinar dedicated to social media strategy, actually, because there's so many things to think about. But basically, if you want to go to the customers where they are, so if we think we spend a lot of time scrolling through our site, our phones, looking at different, relaxing leisure time, business time, searching on social media, scrolling on social media, connecting on social media. Very soon, the social media platforms realize that if they want to fund their activities, they want to provide these platforms, create these networks, they're going to have to let businesses in to pay for them. And that's what it's all about. So depending on where your customers are in their journey, you'll be able to think about when would they be looking. So social media is great before they know about you, but it's also really great when they're already fans. So you don't need to, you can do whatever you like, but it's really important to think about, what the behavior of the user is at that point. 2 types, organic and paid. I still struggle with the word free because your time's not free. The love and care that you go into creating and crafting those posts and organizing your social media. But really, really importantly, with social media, gone are the days of accidentally going viral, really. A business needs to put in a strategy. And if you're spending time creating these beautiful content pieces, great big posts and things, it's worth looking at paying to make sure that they are seen. All right. And that's true across platforms nowadays. But the numbers don't have to be huge. And the amazing thing about it is this idea of you can reach anyone on that platform who's active on that platform you can identify, not identify as an individual, but people who like cats, people who've got a birthday coming up, people who live in Essex. You can reach people who don't already know about you. They don't have to follow you to be able to see, for you to be able to be seen by them. So really, really important way to reach out to people who don't know you. So knowing that customer is super important. How do you get started? Spend some time. We've listed a ton of social media channels. Every time we run this webinar, it feels like new social media channels have popped up. Don't think that just because we've made a long list that you have to be active on all of them. Social media strategy webinar really does start to focus in on which will be the best, the most useful for different kinds of businesses, And there again, if you're going to look at social media, start with one, all right? Test it, try it, see how it works, boost it with some ads, track it, measure it, see how that works. But do join our webinar on social media strategy before you do that. Really importantly, with social media, setting yourself a goal. Don't get distracted by trying to get likes. Don't get distracted by trying to go viral. Set yourself a business goal. And how does that relate to your business? How does your activity on social media relate to what you're going to do? Really deeply listen and learn about your audience. And be prepared to have your assumptions challenged. Okay? And then it's about being consistent. It's no good posting 10 posts in a row and then ignoring it. It's a hungry child. This social media needs to be fed regularly to have any kind of idea of being found at all. Email marketing we're all probably familiar with. But when we're talking about doing email marketing, we're not talking about junk. We're not talking about spam. We're talking about a direct one-to-one communication channel with your customers. All right. So it's a really good addition in terms of getting started. So as I say, what's email marketing? It's permission based. People have to opt in to receive your marketing messages. It is not okay to just scoop up any email address that anybody's ever given you over the last however long you've been in business and start emailing them. It's not okay. It's against all the regulations. So it's permission based. You have to collect permission, and that permission at the point of sign up is the thing to do. But it gives you this opportunity to communicate with people who do care enough to say, yes, I want to hear from this business, which is phenomenally powerful. So when you're starting with email marketing, there's tons of platforms out there. So select a platform that works for you. People have heard of something free like MailChimp. There are then different levels of platforms out there. Different advanced platforms, paid for platforms have bigger features. But before you start paying for a platform, make sure that the features that you want, the features that you're going to pay for, you're actually going to need. Then you have to, as I've hinted at already, you have to build the list of relevant contacts with permission to use those emails. All right. So there's no two ways about it. Lots of people start with an email sign-up form on their website. It might be something that you ask at the end of checkout. Can we contact you in the future? So however you go about doing it, you have to, don't buy lists. Probably not even legal to buy a list, but the lists that people sell are never of particularly good quality. All right. Build a dedicated list of your own for people who are genuinely interested in hearing from you. And actually, when we're talking about email, I think quite often for smaller businesses, smaller lists are better, because then you can really target and get to know your customers. And you've got a much better chance if you are useful, if you are relevant, if you are treating people like those VIPs, which they so really deserve to be. So keep those lists small, keep them segmented. Think of like if you cut through into an orange and you've got all the different pieces, the different segments. Maybe you're going to have different messages for people who have never bought from you before, and entice them to try what you do. And you might have that might be a different segment to people who have bought from you before. How are you going to see how they're doing, build on that loyalty, hopefully maybe get them to buy again, right? So keep it, you don't have to go mad crazy, but start to think about the characteristics of the people that you might be able to identify. Always do test sends. We've all been sent those, oops, sorry, we made a mistake emails. Try not to be the person who hits send in a hurry. Try and test send to a few. Just because you can make it look super fancy doesn't mean you have to. So make sure your emails have the best chance of getting through. Don't have them too fancy with too many pictures, too many videos, too many heavy files, for example. Okay, make it look professional, make it look simple, and make the messages really easy to understand. Then measure it. Do more of what works, do less of what doesn't. And content is what goes through it. So just as an idea, the content of your videos, the written content, your guides, your how-tos, the images you use, the words you say. And as I say, there's lots of chat about the minute about generating that kind of content. Just be thinking, when you're thinking about what you are going to say, bearing in mind that you want to be relevant, authentic, honest, unique, interesting. That's the kind of content that people are actually going to latch onto and want to see more of. All right. And when you're looking at content, we talked about that user journey. What are they doing at what point of learning about you, of building trust with you, of engaging with you? And actually, at different times in the journey, they're going to have different content needs. It might start with a how-to guide, and a bit later go into the more sales things of it. So before you start designing your content, think about why your content, what kind of content you need at what stage of that customer's journey, and how they're going to consume it and where they're going to consume it, which is where your different kinds of social media will send an email here, when they do a direct search, this is what they're going to find. Okay, really think about those people. Could go into personal profiles, personas. We talk a lot about customers' personas when we talk about writing for social media. It's relevant across all different kinds of marketing. So do join us for that one. And yeah, that just rounds up kind of what we've been saying. So, using that content to draw people through your sales funnel. Storytelling. We are human beings, so communicate with other human beings. Then work out how you're going to get that content out there. If you're going to be making content, creating this content, you want to make sure that people can see it, and make sure you're measuring, optimizing, do more of what works and do less of what doesn't. Okay, I can see from Roshane that she's got a handle on all the questions, which is good, because we're coming into our final section right now. Which is all about pulling all those things we've been thinking about together and look at a framework that you can use for your digital marketing plan, which is our 6-step plan for making your strategy. Okay, so we are going to quickly take a look at your business. Okay, what your goals are, what your objectives, what you're trying to achieve as a business. Then we'll be thinking about the budget, the resources. What can you afford to do? How much time have you got to do it? We need to be realistic. Then we'll think about the audience. Who are the people you're trying to reach? And when we've looked at those 3 areas, it's only at that point that we decide, well, what channels, what work are we going to do that's going to help us to achieve the things that we want to achieve with the people we want to achieve them with. Then we'll plan out our activity, and then we'll measure it, and making sure that your measurements are smart. If I saw we had somebody online who is a social media manager. Smart measurements. What, anybody out there, pop in the chat, quick pop quiz on Marketing 101. What does a measurement have to be smart? That acronym, SMART. Pop it in the chat. Let's see who gets that at the end. So your goals and objectives, all right. What does your business want to achieve? Sell some things, get the word out there. All right. With Max, we're going to use Max as we go through. Max is a hairdresser. Max has business goals very similar to tons of similar businesses across the globe, which is get more customers. They want more customers through the door of their premises. New customers, former customers, returning customers. That's what they need. And they want people in the area to know that the business exists. So a couple of things going on. They want customers. They want repeat customers. They want to reach new people, and they want local people to know that they're there. We've got a geographic restriction with Max's business, and tons of businesses do. All right. So what does your business need to achieve? Don't worry about how you're going to achieve it at the minute. Sell more things, reach more people, find 5 new customers. Start thinking about what your business needs to achieve. So here we are. What we then want to do is come up with the online objectives. So what tools can we use online that are going to support those business needs? Try not to just come up with online objectives in a vacuum. They need to be relevant into the business that you're working for. So the kinds of things we might be doing, increasing traffic to our website, increasing our online sales, increasing the social media, lots of increasing. We want to see trends. We want to see numbers moving. So as I've said, those online objectives should really align with what we as a business need to achieve. So if our business goal is to make more people aware that we exist, then the online goal is all about increasing our reach, increasing awareness online. Okay. If we want to get more returning customers, sell more things, it might be that we want to increase that good quality traffic to our website. So really understand what you want to do as a business and how online might be able to help. Okay, so the next thing, to be realistic, have a good look at what, and when we talk about budget and resources aren't just the tools and things that we might need. It's the skills and the time, and then the budget and the money as well. So for Max doesn't have a website yet. It's too much of an investment right now. But there are ways you can be found online without doing it. So when Max is looking at choosing his channels, choosing his tactics, then that's what he's got to bear in mind. How much time he's got, what skills he's got, what money he's got, what tools he has already available. So you might start by evaluating what you have already. So what is possible? Set yourself up to succeed by looking at what's possible. All right. So then we're going to take this audience and break it down. Let's say this idea of an audience persona, some characteristics of the people who are most likely to connect with you, most likely to want to buy from you, for example. So for Max has met her clients. Max knows that the majority of her clients are female. They're in a short geographical area because very few people travel miles and miles to have their haircut. We find somebody local. Then Max knows that her most valuable customers, the ones who come in for all the treatments and the colours and the cuts and the what have yous, are over 30 years old and they are female. From talking to them, Max understands that they actually normally have children. Quite a lot of them work part-time. And actually, a lot of them use Facebook. He knows this because she talks to them as she goes. Okay. So start by doing something like that. Write down what you know about your audience or your potential audience. Okay. And then you start thinking about, okay, well, what are the channels that are going to help me? And as I've mentioned, hopefully drummed it home quite a lot, you do not have to do everything. So pick and choose a couple of things that are going to help with your objectives. Okay, so remember we thought about those online objectives. If I wanted to increase online reach and awareness, people who don't know about me yet, I want them to know about me if they're the right kinds of people who are likely to buy from me. I might use display ads because I can use display ads to reach people when they're not looking for me. I might use social media because I can reach people when they're scrolling through. And I'm really going to have great quality content that's going to grab the attention, that's going to show that I can do what I say I can do, and is going to get them to see me. All right. If, on the other hand, I wanted to increase my website sales, okay, so I'm at that point where if I'm doing sales, then I want to have as short a journey as possible from people finding me to buying my stuff. I need the right people coming in. So that might be search engine marketing, search engine optimization, getting people at the point where they're searching for a product or a service or a business like mine, and making sure I'm being seen for those relevant searches. It might be about increasing my sales by going back to the people who've said they would love to hear from me when they've signed up for my emails, and think about how am I going to use that to actually drive sales. Here's this month's offer. Here's a payday reminder. You've been paid. Why don't you come and buy those shoes you had your eye on? Okay. So really think about 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you can do to make, to give you the best chance of achieving those objectives that you've set. Okay. And then it comes down to the planning, and the devil really is in that detail. Okay, so focusing in on those details. Remember Max said that their online objectives were to reach more people in the local area. I hear that. The first thing I think about is a Google business profile. I might think, okay, local area, maybe there's local listing sites, maybe there's local Facebook pages, whatever it is that's reaching those people. And we know who those people are because they're the mums in the most valuable customers are trying to reach. They've told us a little bit about themselves. So Max is going to set up a Facebook page, start collecting reviews so you get some social proof of this is a good thing to do. Post pictures of customer hairstyles, be seen as somebody who's got, I can see my own, that Max would be trusted with my hair because I can see what they've done to somebody else. And then Max might decide to use some social media advertising to get found when people are scrolling, are local to them, and are looking for those things. All right. There's lots of things you can do without actually having to build your own website. So that's really good. Okay, so SMART. Those of you who played along at home, SMART goals are specific. They are measurable. They are achievable, they are realistic, and they are time bound. Okay. So rather than just saying, I want to sell some more things, be more specific, get into the details. So to increase sales online via my own website, specific, by 20% within 3 months. So think about, is that achievable? I can't tell you. Is it really, is it relevant? Yeah, hopefully it is. But we're really thinking about adding some detail in there, okay? Instead of just increasing brand awareness, increase our brand awareness on this tool by doing these things and when I'm going to do them. How much am I going to do it? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it relevant to what I'm trying to achieve? Relevant to those objectives again, all right? And evaluate yourself against those SMART ideas. So we mentioned Max, who doesn't have a website, wants to reach people in their local area, get more new and returning. And this is what Max's overview of his strategy might look like. Popping up the business goal. Who am I going to do it? This is what I want to achieve with a business. This is who I want to achieve it with. This is the channels I'm going to use, where I'm going to focus my efforts. This is the actual activity I'm going to do. And this is how I'm going to know whether I've succeeded. The measurement side of it's super, super important. Okay. So there we are, our 6-step digital marketing plan. What are our business goals and objectives? What can we afford to do? What's our budget? What's our resource? How much time have we got? What skills do we have or not have? Who are we trying to achieve this with? And therefore, with all of those things, which channels are going to be most relevant? Okay. How are we going to plan out that activity, deliver it, measure it, do more of what works and less of what doesn't? We have to put it in a line for ease of it, but it looks more like a ball of string. Okay. When you learn something new, you iterate, you go back, you learn something different, you try it, test it, try it, do more of it if it works. Okay. I can see that Roshane's been able to answer questions as we go through. So that's been fantastic. Thank you for that, Roshane. Only really starts to think then, what are your next steps going to be? All right. From attending today's webinar, what are you going to do differently? Pop something in the chat. Let Roshane know. Tell the universe. Much more likely to make it happen if you set out with the intention to do so. One of the things you might want to do if you're based here in the UK and you work for a small business, or if you work for a charity, then you can sign up for a free one-to-one mentoring session. And that's with the team here at the Google Digital Garage. And you head over to g.co/UK mentoring to do that. Other than that, thank you so much for your time this morning. Thanks for getting involved. I hope you found it a useful dive into the wonderful world of digital marketing strategy, and probably asked more questions, set you on the path to lots of lovely questions to ask and have answered. Check out our website, because we are running those Google Digital Garage webinars in all kinds of different subjects. You'll be able to rewatch today's webinar for about the next 24 hours or so. So if there's anything you've missed, do feel free to go on back. Other than that, thank you so much for joining me today. Roshane and I look forward to welcoming you again to another Google Digital Garage training session sometime soon. Have a great day.